All right, y'all. Without further delay, it's the one and only Big Homie, if you really know me. Friday Night Vibe. This is easing on down the road, man, of our episode 1. I don't even know what this is, though. Like part 2, part 3 of me becoming T-K.A.S.H. And last time we left off, I talked about how I got to a point where my homeboy, early mentor, T-K.A.S.H of the East Bay Omega Boys Club, he was one of the main ones that got me entrenched into Bay Area hip hop and Bay Area rap early on. But it was through media, you know what I mean? So go back and check out part 1 of this first little episode, and it'll get you caught up to speed, because by this time, if you're starting with like from the end of part 1 into now, you would know that I'm coming home that same night after we came from your mama's cafe, and I remember my head just being in a daze, man. It was like it wasn't like I signed to a record label, but it just felt like I was a part of something that was greater than me and more beneficial to me than anything else I had going on, man. And it was a pretty dope experience, man. Like that one night, I believe, made me somewhat famous to my homeboys and my classmates at Tech, because, you know, at the very least, I was the dude that's on the radio, you know what I'm saying? Because I told people that I would be going to this radio station, and then over the past weeks after that, I was actually on the air. You know, I was dropping, you know, here and there with some quotes or just discuss some things with Kasimu, and people heard that shit, you know what I'm saying? So that led me for about maybe a year and some change to be affiliated with 90.7 K-A-L-X, and by default, Siddiqui, Tamu, Davey D, O-Dub, shout out O-Dub, Brother Yaya. A lot of people don't remember those guys, man, but I remember them because they had a lot to do with my early upbringing in the industry, at least in the Bay Area, man, if nowhere else, you know. And again, I was a teenager, man. I was an introverted, latchkey kid that hung out in Oakland with the homies by default, because there was nothing else to do. There was nowhere else to go, man. We were poor, you know what I mean? We were poor, we were broke. God bless my mom, you know, she was broke, you know what I mean? Welfare, you know, job here, a job there, you know, odd jobs, and wasn't nothing going on for us. So when something else was going on for us, man, that was it. It took me into outer space. So on that journey to becoming who people know now as T-K.A.S.H, there was a stop on the road that involved Bay Area hip hop media. Now, I'm gonna toggle back over to the Bay Area rap side for a minute, because they were kind of happening at the same time. And I think I talked about this early on with part 3, how I became, you know, how I came into Bay Area rap, one of the earlier episodes that I posted. By that time, I was still trying to make music at Big Vern Studio. So go back to a few episodes prior, you can learn more about that. And my mind went like this. The rapper in me was being appeased and cultivated and developed and like propped up by the latchkey kid that was a part of Bay Area hip hop media, because I got selected to be part of this after school program in me. You get what I'm saying? So I went back and forth between those two like pieces of identity until I realized they were actually one thing. It wasn't they weren't two wholes, they were two halves of one whole. There was a dichotomy, you know what I mean? It was multiple things going on at once. It was an intersectionality that was T-K.A.S.H that I didn't really fully embrace yet, because I just didn't know, man. Come on, I was fucking 16, you know what I mean? I don't, you know. So from there, from there, I began to be more involved with other after-school events and programs. And one of the things that happened at this very same time, roughly more or less, was that my 10th grade English teacher, sociology teacher, in a program called Interlinks, wanted me to attend these after-school meetings at the California College of Art and something else, I forgot the name, CCAC, California Art College, California Community Art College. I hope I'm saying that right. If not, my bad. And these were basically brainstorm sessions, listening sessions put on by a person named Suzanne Lacey. And Suzanne Lacey and a few other people on her team were working on a live art project, an art project that was pretty much interactive. And that interactive was to involve kids and cars. And the kids, at the time, that was me, would sit in the cars and talk about socioeconomic, social, cultural issues. At the time, police brutality, racism, censorship, you know, when it comes to hip hop, you know, everything Oakland, everything Bay Area, you feel me? We were basically a part of a project early on to talk about that. So between Bay Area hip hop media, me trying to rap, and me being a part of this after school programming project, I was pretty much entrenched, man. The best I could be for, again, it's this 16-year-old kid from Oakland who, you know, black and Filipino, on the bus, you know what I'm saying? I was on public transportation, man. At no point was I ever riding around clean and fresh in high school, you know what I'm saying? Hell no. So that was a three-way dance until two very pivotal moments happened out of that experience, of that three-way dance. Number one day, Kasimu and I went to a hip-hop event at Stanford, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say Stanford. If it wasn't Stanford, it was in Cupertino. It was in the South Bay. It was on the peninsula, but it involved a lot of different artists, man. Underground artists from the Bay Area, as well as national artists and a lot of different radio personalities. And the reason why I'm explaining this is because at the time, you didn't have the internet to consolidate the culture of the community of artists that was very diverse at the time. So basically what I'm saying is, you know, you had everything kind of spread out and siloed. So you had to kind of go find it. It wasn't going to come to you. So anytime you had something that was centralized, it was pretty dope. So everybody, kind of a little bit of everybody from everywhere was there. And let me describe it a little bit more. I forgot what this was, but it was a big ass open field, and it was a DJ and a stage, and I don't even know what the event was, but people were performing and coming on and off stage, and it was acts from New York there. I forgot to ask, so don't ask me who it was in the comments. I couldn't even tell you that shit, you know what I'm saying? There were DJs from KMEL there, from KSOL, well, what became Wild 107. They were there. Different street team, promotional people were handing out stuff, t-shirts. And I was there on some legitimate business because I was with Kasimu, you know what I'm saying? So I felt like I was getting put on. That introduced me a little bit more to Davey D, because Kasimu and Dave and Siddiqui and everybody were like kind of to the side of the stage with him, right? I don't even know what this was, man, to be honest with you, but I just know that it was even more advanced than Your Mama's Cafe. Go back and watch episode 1 to say, like, what are you talking about, Your Mama's Cafe? That's what I mean by that. You know what I'm saying? So, Your Mama's Cafe, that was like part 1. This was like Your Mama's Cafe 2.0. You know what I'm saying? It was hella DJs and artists and local artists that I recognized, but I didn't necessarily know. I think Chunk was there from East Palo Alto. Totally Insane might have been there. A couple other artists. But I'm saying all that to say, this blew me away, man. It blew me away. And with that, I'm I'm gonna try my best to bridge the gap between what Suzanne Lacey was doing at the time and what this event and the after party from that event did for me. Hear me out. So I was already primed to being a part of the East Bay Omega Boys Club and these open shares with our Wednesday night meetings, like I talked about in the last part of this segment of the content, episode 1. So now I'm on here, and I'm on here on this platform, on this path with East Bay Omega Boys Club. I'm already open to holistically sharing about my feelings and stuff. And one day, I get told that I got another outlet to share my feelings with Suzanne Lacey. Then I'm at this event, and the after party of the event, I believe it was very close to the release date for Tupac's album, Me Against the World. Kasimu had a copy and was playing it for me at his spot back at the crib. He used to stay right there across the street from Oakland Tech. It was a paint store, and it had a loft, like an apartment building above it. So I was like, damn, this shit's tight. You know what I mean? I'm right across the street from Tech. Got the paint store jumping off. It's cool. So I was listening to the album, and there was so many parallels, man, to my life at the time. The anger, the despair, the sadness. He had a song, the song Outlaw. Dear God, I wanted to get you, save me. Lord knows that. Oh my God, that whole album, Dear Mama. But all of that to say, now not only was I a part of something greater than me, I was moving towards being a real part of Bay Area hip hop. I remember how that moment in time solidified my association with this experience as like a healing moment, a cleansing moment. So I just knew no matter what, and like I was saying in the previous episode, like, yo, man, I'm sticking with this shit. I'm not doing anything to jeopardize this at all. So I started to just stay in the house more. I wasn't funny style or nothing. I don't believe I was funny style, but I just stopped hanging around the homies like that, man. And it wasn't nothing negative against them, but I just stopped hanging around the homies like that. And I just focused everything on trying to be available for these experiences, man. For what eventually became the Roof Was on Fire, these after school experiences. What eventually became me being a part of a Bay Area hip hop media team, and then eventually what had me become a rapper. But the rapper part came last out of everything, man. We just got to kind of stay true to the timeline. So 94, 95 is when those three, the Roof Was on Fire, East Bay Omega Boys Club, and then T-K.A.S.H, street promotion, Bay Area hip hop, that all had a part to play in my experience becoming T-K.A.S.H. All right, I'm gonna stop there for today. I might be back again tomorrow with something else. Pardon the delay with these. I'm moving as fast as I can. It's a real world for me, but that is that when it comes to what I did early on in life, and how that became a part of the path for me to becoming who people know now as T-K.A.S.H. All right, y'all. That's it. Peace.